takes me out of school and all that stuff. When I got out of school, I ended up moving to St. Petersburg, Florida, with a buddy that I played lacrosse with. He had already moved down. I didn't quite know what I was doing. And when I heard he was down there, I was like, you know what? Let's do this. I went to St. Petersburg and met with the lacrosse community. That's where I met business owners, and the guy that ended up giving me my first job down there, which was a developing job in ASP for a hospitality industry. I don't know, timeshare resale. A kid I played lacrosse with started the business because he bought into a timeshare and then tried to sell it, and we all know how those stories typically tend to turn out. So this particular guy pissed him off so much that he decided to create a company that would actually do what they said. They actually were trying to resell timeshares of people that got themselves in the same situation that he did. So I was pretty lucky to run into him. It wasn't long, and then another friend of mine within the lacrosse community who was working at a bigger company where there were benefits and all that other stuff said, "Hey, we have an open house. You need to get your ass over there." And I did. I went, interviewed to somebody, and was hired on immediately in the first interview. It was a technical support role of some sort, third-party credit card processing. So we were building credit card machines. Um, Took me 30 days to get through the um, training course. It was a hands-on training course. You still open the three-ring binders, and we only had one, so you're passing around a three-ring binder for 8, 9, 10, 10 of us. It was absurd. So immediately my mind went to, I can make this electronic, and I did. Um, the first thing I did once I got out of the training course was start to write my own instructions down. And, our instructions were a three-ring binder. So as soon as I had written my instructions, pretty much everybody else wanted them and was using them pretty quickly. So within the first 90 days, I was promoted to lead, and then I was training the training and training and up training of the new hires and those types of things. It wasn't long after that they asked me to create a training course and the documentation and all that stuff that comes with that. And so, my first experience, outside of the coding job I had for 7, 8 months, was about documentation, and that quickly turned into leadership for me. Once I documented the process, shared the process, and then I trained people on the process, and that led to the lead job. And so I was then hiring and firing and trying to figure out the management side of things as I'm learning technology and juggling, everything else I had going on in my life in the, your early 20s. I think I might have been 25 or 20, maybe 26 at the time. So I took over the lead there. And from there, at some point, I forget what happened. I think we got bought out. The company's name was Certegy in St. Petersburg, and then we got bought out by Fidelity National Information Services. And so, the moment we got bought out, Fidelity came in, and they put metrics on the call times of our representatives. And I think our calls were 15, 17, 20 minutes. Nobody's watching what you do. Take your time, make sure everything got fixed. But there's nobody watching your metrics until I got started. We set a rudimentary goal, and I don't think they thought I was going to be able to meet it. 10 times a month for 22 associates. I mean, that's a lot of touches. I don't think they thought I could do it, but I did it. And in doing so, I was able to bend our calls into the new metrics that we had laid on us. And so I was definitely getting attention at that point. I had already been I guess, the liaison between the interdepartmental works. This group does that, this group does that, this group does this, and we were supporting all of the above. And when I got there, nobody really liked each other. It was tough. When you go there, they're like, eh. But after, over time, when you go around and you start making these connections, and you can show people that, you're serious, and, you're really trying to do what's good for everybody. I was able to earn their trust, and, well, we started getting things done, I think, is the bottom line. So I was there about almost 4 years. My new wife, new girlfriend, then fiance, we were getting serious, and her job ended up relocating out of Florida to North Carolina. And I was thinking, you know what? It's going to be easier for me to get a job, anywhere on the East Coast with technology versus, her, who she was really just starting out her career. So we went to North Carolina and rolled the dice, took a gamble, moved up the coast, and I helped pursue her career for that year. In that time, I was able to find work just like we thought. I was able to find work for a company called McRae and Associates. It was an analyst position. I forget the exact term. MIS analyst, managing information systems analyst. It was for Dan's Bojangles. Gotta want to need to get a have a Bojangles. It was for Bojangles. So we were supporting, I don't remember how many locations. It was 30 some locations. And we were putting in, once a month, we were building a brand new location. So I did that probably 7 times out of the 9 months I was with them, because I had to train and learn their systems. And then I started going out into the field because everybody else didn't want to. And I was like, yeah, sure. Which is another theme of mine. I think I benefited from having the perspective of not knowing what I perceived as shit at the point. I didn't think I knew anything. And so I didn't go into any project, like I was some sort of expert. I went in, letting them know, look, I'm very much learning. I'm a hard worker. I bring my lunchbox with me. I'll be here every day, reliable, dependable, and we'll get stuff done. And that's, I think that was the reputation I ended up leaving when I left there. I left there because my wife and I found out we were having our child. So we ended up moving further up the state to New York, which is where I'm from, and just being closer to family. So when I got there, we had both just left. Felt like we just left Florida. Left our job. Well, I left my job. She kept hers. We moved up with her, had insurance and stuff. And then we found out we were going to have a child, and we both left our jobs and started fresh at zero. My sister was lucky enough to take us in for a little bit until we could, we just had to get up there and start finding a place. Our first apartment together was an absolute hole. It is what it is. We started over again, and we didn't start in a mansion. So we were pregnant at that point, and I went back to a call center and started as a level 1 tech because nobody knew me. And within 30 days, I was taking every phone call in the building. And it wasn't much longer where they let me work from home as well. And so, at that time, I I just needed a job. I knew it was easier to find a job when you had a job. $8. I started out $8.50 an hour or something stupid. So we didn't have a lot of money coming in. But out of those times, those hard times, is really where I think I built my character on my back. Um, so, what happened? While I was working in the call center, I kept looking for jobs. I went to a recruiter. The recruiter asked me some initial questions, and apparently I didn't do too good because he sent me home. And he was like, "Hey, if you're a developer and you're a programmer, um, you know, where's your portfolio?" And at the time, I had a website. It just wasn't geared towards the stuff I was doing. And so I said, "You know what? I appreciate the information. Give me a few minutes and I'll get back to you." So what I did was I went home and I updated my website to look like a portfolio. And then I called the guy back and said, "Hey, um, I know I didn't have it, an hour or two ago when I saw you, but can most people put a website together for you and update it in a couple hours?" I said, "I want you to take a look at my website. Tell me what you think." He looked at it, called me right back, and said, "Hey, I need you to come back in. We got to talk to you." And we did. And there was this opportunity. At the time, I didn't know what the details were, but there was an opportunity out of Massachusetts for a healthcare application that was, it was a microbiology lab application that was used in hospitals. Um, okay, great. Sounds good. What do you want me to do? They wanted me to technical write. So I was brought in to document the development life cycle and how they were doing their job.